got myself into a lot of credit card debt because I got into a situation.
How long are you married?
Almost 5 years.
And you got with this person.
I thought we were going to be together, we were going to be in love. That wasn't the case because he was married. Technically, I was married too.
You and the married guy, banging it up. You were,
Yeah, of course.
and he was married.
Yes.
That's homewrecker behavior.
Technically.
I just found my absolute newest favorite YouTube channel and I wanted to share it with you guys. Introducing a show called Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer. The purpose of the show is to bring up real people, real couples, and have an in-depth discussion or conversation about their finances, all in an effort to improve their financial knowledge, which will hopefully improve their financial future. The newest episode of Financial Audit is absolutely insane and details a young woman by the name of Daphne who got into credit card debt after she got a divorce and moved into an apartment that she could not afford. See, she thought her new boyfriend, which was her work boyfriend, which they started to date a day after the divorce, would eventually move in and help pay the rent. Oh, but wait, he was actually married. But let's give this homewrecker the opportunity to explain her situation. Without further ado,
I'm Daphne. I'm 34. I'm from Huntsville, Texas, and this is Financial Audit.
Welcome over to Austin. Don't know where Huntsville is, but what do you do for a living?
So right now, I'm what they call a distribution designer at an electric company.
Okay.
So basically, I just design new construction power lines in like an AutoCAD type software.
All right. How much are we making?
So I make $31.74 an hour.
Okay,
It's pretty good.
okay,
yeah.
So,
If she's working 40 hours per week, that'll come out to about $60,000 per year.
I
About
saw
to get a raise. Oh,
Well, okay, yeah. Oh, you're gonna get a raise to what?
it's like $33.58 or something like
very
that.
nice. So I see 3,817 comes in.
That sounds right.
Is it about to be like 4,000 after the raise? Where's
I
it
haven't
gonna
done the
jump
math.
to?
I haven't done the math, but maybe.
Okay. So, what are we looking at today? We got some weird and interesting debt. You make okay amount of money, so it's like a little confusing. I think we're gonna need a little context.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
So I'm kind of a mess.
Okay.
Okay. So it all started 2 years ago. I got divorced.
Okay.
And
32.
when I left my husband, I was only making like $16 an hour.
Mm.
And so that wasn't enough. And so I got myself into a lot of credit card debt because I moved into an apartment that I couldn't really afford, but I thought that someone else was going to be living with me in it. So that's
What do you
happened.
mean? The ex?
No. Okay, so right after I got divorced, I got into a situation with somebody I knew from work. And,
How quickly after the divorce?
well, like immediately. It was like a rebound, right? I guess is what they would call it.
No, that's not what they would call it. In fact, I think that they would call it, this is the person who you had your eye on while you were married, talking to your husband as if this is your work husband. Meanwhile, you were fantasizing about getting stuffed by him. You divorced your husband and went into credit card debt because you expected the man, your work husband, to live with you? Absurd, ma'am.
Okay.
And
Like,
we worked
like the
together.
day after?
Maybe. Like, sort of, yes.
Okay.
So I knew him, right? We worked together. That's how we met.
Wait,
and-
how long are you married?
Almost 5 years.
Did you guys ever have any kids?
Yes.
And you got with this person a
Right
day
after.
after?
Oh,
Yes, but see what I thought he was like the love of my life.
what?
A day after a divorce. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. And you thought he'd be living with you?
Yes. Like I thought we were gonna be together. We were gonna be in love. But then that wasn't the case because he was married.
Oh.
Which I know it sounds terrible, right?
That sounds
But
terrible.
It is
thought he
terrible.
was just like the love of my life, and we met under these unusual circumstances, which technically, like, I was married too,
What?
right? Like, so
Wait a Okay. No, sorry. Go on. Go on. I'm
so like
processing.
from the time I moved out of my house to the time my divorce was finalized was probably like 6 months, maybe a little longer. So like technically I was married.
When
right?
So like the day after you were like, hey, I'm divorcing you. Is that how that went?
My ex-husband.
Yeah.
Well, we had like a conversation.
And we were
where
like, okay, so it's ending in a divorce. We understand. Then
Yes.
the next day, you were with that dude.
Well, no, I mean that. No.
No, of course not. She was with the dude, cheating on her husband with this guy prior to the divorce. Women like this, especially at 32 years old, are not going to hop out of a marriage with no other options in sight. By the way, it is wild to me how she is affably explaining her demon-like serpent woman ways with a smile on her face. You swore before God how you gonna be married for the rest of your life. And then you fell in love with another man while you were married? While the other man was married? You cannot make this shit up.
But very soon after, yes.
But he was married?
Yes, so I was under the impression that he was the same kind of married that I was, which
The
like,
same kind. What kind of married is that?
which is like,
That's insane.
no, hear me out. So like,
Okay. No, I'm hearing you out. It just doesn't really vibe with my personal morals on that.
right?
But
No.
go for it. Go.
So like,
You say your thing. We're trying to get context for how you ended up here. So go ahead. Go ahead.
legally married, right?
Oh yeah.
Like was not divorced yet, but we were not living together.
Yeah, but you also met up with the dude the day after, and he was married as well.
Not the day after. That makes.
Yeah, we're working together.
Context, right? So,
Oh my
anyways,
God.
he had me under the impression that they were getting divorced, but they owned a home together. They owned vehicles together, so it was like a longer process, right?
But yeah, you
So-
guys had a kid.
Yeah, but we didn't have any like finances together, so it wasn't hard.
Okay.
Right? So he was like, I'm leaving. Like they're not together anymore, right? They're just in this process of getting divorced. That was my understanding. Turned out that wasn't the case at all. And I found that out several months
How long are
later.
you guys together?
Me and the guy?
Sorry, I know this isn't like straight finances right here. We're trying to give context with finances, but I do have to be a little honest that I am quite interested in this.
That's fine.
So I will give it at least a couple more minutes.
This is messy.
We were together maybe 6 months?
You and the married guy
Yeah, married.
banging
That's
it
what I
up,
thought.
banging it up.
Well,
You were,
well, yeah, of course.
and he was married.
Yes.
That's homewrecker behavior.
technically-
Yeah.
That is true. It's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
yeah.
They're still together.
Wait a minute, and you signed a lease expecting him.
They're still together, so it is fine. Oh, of course, that's why she's able to just describe everything so nonchalantly. It's also so interesting how she's describing them as together. Ma'am, he was never together with you. Yeah, he ain't shit for cheating on his wife, but he was just stuffing your viscous innards. That's it. You were nothing more than a warm hole for this guy. You should be beyond embarrassed of yourself. But this is all related to her finances. Why? And I tell you guys this often. Women with messy finances, women with messy homes, their cars are messy. Women who don't know order within their life, they often carry that over into relationships. It's a clumsy thinking, and when you mix it with these emotional Disney-like thinkers who romanticize happily ever after, you can get a witch's brew of bull. So stay
To
vigilant.
live with you? Yeah, they're still together. Does she know?
Oh, yeah.
She didn't know during
Are
the
they
time.
open?
No.
Right.
Future wife, please don't cheat on me.
Oh my God.
I
That was so
be-
funny.
That's okay.
That's sad.
Yeah, so she found out about me. And I was kind of like,
Oh, she found out. Okay.
yes. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, let me loop this back to finances. So you signed a lease expecting to live with him because you thought he was the love of your life.
Well, like
a married man
Right.
that you
Okay,
met.
wait.
Delusion.
When you say it like that, it sounds bad.
But that's the truth.
But, and
Girl, I'm going off what you're saying.
Right.
No, and what I'm saying is that right now, right, of course, now I see your
No.
perspective.
I'm
But
just saying,
at the
did you get
time-
the apartment expecting to live with him?
Eventually, yeah. I thought
What was
he
eventually?
would move in. I don't know, within like a few months. There was something that was happening that he was waiting. You know, there was like...
Look at
Yeah, maybe he had a wife.
Yeah, so...
You were just guts.
Yeah. So I couldn't really afford it. But it was also the cheapest place I could find, so I don't really know what I could have done differently.
Shouldn't have got divorced. Should have saved your
It does
marriage.
sound crazy.
So that's
I
how
will
you
agree.
started getting into debt?
Yeah, so when I got divorced, I didn't have any credit card debt at all. I had credit cards, but
Sure.
no balances on them.
Yeah.
But I did have all this student loan debt. That's been there. So
Okay.
yeah. So I ended up in the credit card debt because I didn't make enough money to live my life, but I had to.
Well, you signed
right?
up for a life for two
Yeah.
with this like dream that didn't exist.
Yeah. It's so sad.
It was kind of. It feels like was it like a fantasy. In
Of
your
course,
head?
it was a fantasy.
No,
Why did you think he was gonna move in and take care of half the payment?
because that's what he was telling me.
Okay,
Like
so
he was like,
leading you.
I'm gonna marry you. You're the love of my life.
they have
I wish
kids?
I'd yes, teenager.
This is gross. Okay.
It is gross. But
is
they're-
it?
They're so happy.
You
and stuff.
think so? Okay.
It is. I mean,
Um,
it's embarrassing, right? But it's also like a part of my life. It happened.
It happened. Mistakes were made. I'm just bigger, better, faster, stronger because I've made these mistakes. Oh, the learnings. I've ruined this guy's life. He's in a dark cave somewhere in a bathtub filled with warm water with a toaster above it plugged in, ready to end it all because I ruined his fucking life. But I learned something at the end of the day because life is about learning and growing and nurturing your mind. If this is not psychotic, sociopathic behavior, then I don't know what is. Throw away your marriage because you just believed him. Meanwhile, you're damn near homeless and then the guy is still married to his wife. You keep referencing that you're embarrassed, but this is loser behavior. This is pathetic behavior. If Caleb's not gonna say it, then I will.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
At
It's
32.
a long time. But I'm trying to do better, right? That's why I'm here.
Okay. Sure.
And my life is so much better.
So you
now.
started going into debt because of that, and then
Well, not because of the guy.
That was 2 years ago,
necessarily,
but because you lived a lifestyle too high because he didn't move in.
Yeah, because I truly could not afford
Okay.
my life with
Well, that
the
was
job
2 years
that I
ago.
had.
So
Yeah.
what have we done these last 2 years?
Okay, so about a year ago, I got a way better job.
Oh, yeah.
This job I have now, right? So
Yeah,
I
it's a good job.
I basically doubled my income.
Oh, sure.
So it's been way better. I moved into a better place,
That's okay.
which was necessary. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why was it
So the place I was
necessary?
living when I first got divorced
Yeah.
was like a tiny home.
Yeah, the place
Like
you
it's-
couldn't afford. Okay.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a storage shed, right?
It
But
was.
then
It was
someone
storing
turned- yeah, and my child.
Yeah.
And so it was like 500 square feet and just all one room, basically. It was not ideal.
Oh
You were
my
living in a
God.
studio.
Yeah.
People.
And you were planning on moving this guy into your studio with your child?
Live in studio. Okay. Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
What?
Okay, but when you have a little kid, you have
How old's the
lots
kid?
of stuff. She'll be 5 soon.
What is she gonna think when she?
I don't like it.
She's gonna be ashamed of you.
I think
Right.
people do this.
This
all
is
the
sick.
time, right?
What?
Isn't,
No, they
that's
don't.
part of like love is like taking a chance on something. And like it sounds crazy, but I really
It's just what people do. It's just, I'm like, y'all see what I'm talking about now? Every time I get asked about, man, what, MTR, what's your hangups with marriage in 2024? Like, what's your problem, MTR? This, her. Mindsets like this. What? You talking about that's what love is, and this is what people do when you signed a covenant with God. They treat marriage today as if it was like a pinky swear amongst 4-year-olds. Absolutely no respect.
really thought like he was like the one, right? And then he wasn't. And that's partially because he was lying to me, and I just believed it because I wanted to believe it.
That's insane.
But now, in retrospect, it's very clear what was happening.
Well, what would you rate yourself finances wise. I know we're talking about love. We're not talking about that kind of rating. We're talking about finances. Finances, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where do you think you are financially today?
So I took the quiz on your website.
Oh, yes. Free, link in the description below.
It gave me a 0, which I don't agree with.
Why do you not agree with that?
I don't think it's that bad. I think
I was seriously gonna...
I think I'm like a 4.
You think you're a 4? Explain. Go ahead.
Okay.
Give it to me.
So I do have a lot of debt, right?
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, laugh it away. Go ahead. Yeah, laugh that pain away.
I don't have
That gets rid of debt.
anything in collections, and I'm
You own a home?
no,
You have a fully funded emergency fund?
no.
How's your retirement?
It's pretty good, I think.
Okay.
But truthfully, I don't really know.
It's
really
pretty
know.
good, I think. I don't know. All right. So you don't have an emergency fund. You have bad debt.
Yes.
You might have retirement going for you.
No, I mean,
Other than that.
I have a 401k from an old job that I quit.
But is it good for your age? Like, I don't know.
Oh, probably not.
Okay,
I'm
so
old.
why are you a 4?
Well, 4 is like less than halfway, so I feel like that's not.
She's ridiculous.
0 to 10, what's in the middle?
5.
So 5 would be basic average, solid down the
Yeah,
middle.
so I'm like just below that. I think that's fair.
Oh my. Okay. Gosh. Well,
Delusional.
that's an interesting take.
She would also rate herself a 10.
Also, thank you for being on. I know I've given you a hard time so far, but thank you for being on. 4 is wild, but that's.
Well, we'll
All right.
see, right?
We'll see. Sure, we sure will. All right, let's jump into this because this, like, we've been. It's been the Caleb Springer show so far, which is fine. I mean, I find it entertaining, but like we're also trying to get into your finances here. Maybe you should divorce debt and sleep with debt free right off the bat.
That's a great idea, actually. We'll work on it.
Well, okay. Bank of America.
Yes.
Bank of America. Oh, what? I'm so. Sorry. I want to ask about that apartment. Let me get through this card and I'll ask you about your current apartment again.
Okay.
$5,544.16 is the balance. With $98 of interest. You're purchasing. Why do we do this? You've had 2 years. You got a better job. And this is what I was going to bring up a second ago. You moved into this bigger, more expensive apartment. Okay, I understand it. You wanted to get out of the studio. That is relatively fine. But if you doubled your income, you moved up some lifestyle, why are we purchasing on a car? Why has this not been paid off? And not only that, but why are we purchasing on a car that's getting $98 in interest?
I love his reaction here. It's the same reaction that I would have. I think most people in the West get this wrong. I was taught early on, always pay off your credit card every single month. You could use your credit card in order to get the reward points, but pay it off every single month. Never revolve a debt. You should not be paying for things that you cannot afford right now. If you can't afford it right now, then do not pay for it. She said before that she utilized her credit card in order to help pay her rent. Well, she doubled her income. Her rent didn't double. So why are you still using a credit card?
Why have you made no progress on the debt?
I don't think I've been purchasing on that one. It's been a long time.
Oh, interesting. Why don't you go ahead and just take a look at numbers? Almost like it exists right in front of me. Looks like you stayed at a hotel.
Recently.
Whose husband did you bang in this hotel?
Oh!
Sorry, I'm done. Whew.
Caleb spicy. She absolutely was getting her soul touched by some guy in that hotel and thrusted into the back of her mind, which is why she don't remember making the purchase to begin with.
I did I went to the beach recently. That might be that.
You need a hotel to go to the beach? I went to a beach on 4th of July. I didn't buy a hotel. What are you talking about?
I mean, I do go to the beach all the time without.
How far away is the hotel? You have debt, though. Why would you put it on a card that you have to pay off?
Oh, I thought I had to. So when I booked the hotel, it was like,
What?
if you use a debit card, it'll hold so many $100. Do you know what I mean?
They do prefer credit cards, yes.
So I used the credit card. And you asked me, why haven't you paid it off? And the reason is...
Yeah, you haven't made progress. It's just...
I have.
You were making so much... You made double.
Yes. So it was like $11,000, maybe.
Over the course of what?
But then what I did do was I took I did that balance transfer thing.
So you didn't even pay it off. You just balance transfer.
Right. And that balance transfer
Oh,
has 0% interest. So I've been paying on that to pay that half
That's
off
not paying off debt, though.
before. I thought it was a good idea.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. When did you do the balance transfer?
For folks that don't know, and this is dating me a little bit, actually. My first job when I was in undergrad, I worked for what was at the time, I believe, was MBNA, but then got absorbed into Bank of America. So that was my first job in undergrad. I was at a credit card facility. First, I started off on the phones, cold calling potential customers to essentially sell them credit cards. And then I got promoted like in less than a year to go into the collections department, which was collecting on the debt of those credit cards. So it's really interesting because I got to see the dichotomy of the sale and then what happens when people don't pay. And that's when I really got it into my mind of I will never revolve a debt. But a balance transfer is like, let's say you have a card and it's got 30% interest on it, $10,000 balance. Another credit card company comes along and says, hey, if you put this balance on our card, if you balance transfer, we'll give you this card for 0% interest. So you could take that $10,000, put it on another card, 0% interest that you're paying up on it. And they usually do it from like 12 to 18 months. So while in theory, a good idea, the credit card companies know that once you have that 0% interest, the emotional buyers are still going to go out and put more on the balance. So after the 12 to 18 months, you're $20,000 in credit card debt and you're paying interest on top of that. These financial companies wait the long game. Trust me.
It would have been maybe October.
Okay.
And
that's
I think it
interesting.
had 18 months, 0%.
No, I get that part.
Okay.
I get the math part.
So I've been just paying the minimum on this one and then paying more than the minimum on the one
on
with
the
the 0%.
interest-free card, that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
That doesn't make
because
sense.
I have to pay it off before the end of the.
Yes,
or
but 18
the
months is a
interest
long time. Like, I
crazy.
would have tried to... Well, I guess I would have mathed that. I would have figured out what the minimum monthly payment would be required to pay that off within 18 months and then just put it at that. And the rest of the money I'd be putting on cards that have interest. But again, that's a math thing.
Yeah.
And the math thing, yes, consolidation can kind of make sense. I'm not opposed to the concept. But someone like you lived higher than you could.
Yeah. That's the issue.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, 10% of your spending goes to eating out, another 7% to miscellaneous bullshit. There's a lot. There's unknown spending, another 10%. It's crazy. So it's someone like you. You have a behavior issue. You can't control your spending.
She's got no
so what
discipline.
Consolidation does is it all of a sudden leaves you. What is this? almost $18,000 to be able to spend on this card. Just rack it up. You just gave yourself the ability to spend more money. That's what tends to happen.
Yeah.
When people don't fix their behavior. We know you have behavior issues. So people just like
He keeps hitting her. I love it.
that's what scares me about it.
Yeah, but I will say, other than the hotel, I mean, I'd have to go back and look. I haven't spent anything on that credit card in a very long time.
Okay.
I've been really trying to do better. But then I did accidentally get a Southwest credit card.
Accidentally.
How does someone get an accident? And how do you smile at it? Is it a little joke? Is it a little hee-haw?
No, it's...
Ooh, I just accidentally f***ed my life.
Right.
No, it's not that. I was booking a flight, and it pops up that thing at the bottom that says, if you get this credit card, you'll get this many dollars off.
Yeah, but there's steps you have to go through. That's not an accident.
Right. So I didn't understand. I thought that amount would be subtracted right then. I didn't realize
it's
that
later.
you have to,
Buy another.
and then it comes in the mail, and then I can use that card eventually to get that $200 off.
Yeah.
That sounds really stupid, and yes.
Yes, it does.
So now,
I'm glad you can.
yes.
Okay. I'm glad you realized that.
Yeah.
So $98 in interest accrues on this. Take 20 years to pay off doing the minimum monthly payments.
Right. So my plan.
Just think about how ridiculous that is. 20 years to pay off $5,000, and she's making those minimum monthly payments. And I think it said there that an extra $14,000. Yep, an extra $14,000 if she only does the minimum payment. The crazy issue is that all of this is written right up on the credit card statement. I believe that these companies are now obligated by law to put all of this information on there to more inform the consumer what it is that they're setting themselves up for. No wonder why these big banks have hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars in assets because of dummies that take 20 years to pay off $5,000 and give them $15,000 in that time. Absolutely absurd work. And guys, I'm gonna stop the content right here. I'll leave a link to it down in the description box down below. I didn't even go through 30% of this video. But above all, I wanted to bring this story up to highlight not only the importance of financial literacy, especially during major life transitions, but then also where your life could go if you choose a life partner or someone to marry with a history of making ill-advised to bad decisions. There is no doubt that the man saw many of these behavior patterns within the relationship, but still chose to get married to her, all while trying to rely on a married man to save her as if she's a damsel in distress. Be careful when she says she got a work husband, my G, because this might be you. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. MediocreTutorialsReviews@gmail.com. Guys, and last but not least, link to it down in the description box down below to my free men's community. Actually, one of the things that we focus on is financial fitness. Click down, beam up, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, YouTube.